Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I hope you're enjoying the conjunction of a full moon with Saturn today. It was kind of too dusty here in Phoenix to see Saturn, but I took some good pictures of the moon. I'm kind of doing this almost as a rehearsal for next month. We have a solar eclipse. It's a ring of fire. Sometimes the moon doesn't entirely cover the sun because depending on the distance of the we live in a lot of people think it's a coincidence that the moon is exactly the same size as the sun. It's actually even more than that. It's a coincidence that we live in a time where the moon is the right distance from the earth. When dinosaurs were around, the moon was a whole lot closer to the earth, and also the day was only 12 hours long, or maybe 14 hours long. I would hate to live on a world where days are that short. They're too short for me as it is. And I know that because when we went into quarantine, I found myself sleeping once every 26 hours and getting the best sleep I ever got. Ever! And that was really nice. That was really nice. And I don't have insomnia. I only have... well, some people like to say... I haven't been diagnosed with this, so don't get me wrong, but there are some people who call this problem a non-24 cycle, but non-24 usually affects the blind, right? I just tend to do really well when I sleep a little bit later every night. I have a tendency to do that when I'm on vacation as well. So every time I travel to Taiwan, and it takes me like a week to adjust to the schedule, right? So the time difference is like 9-10 hours. And I just go to bed a little bit later every night until I adjust to the Taiwan time. I feel so good as I'm making the adjustment. And then after I finally make that adjustment and I fly home to the United States, I get to make that adjustment all over again. So every time, assuming I can do it slowly, right? Sometimes I have to return straight to work, but if not, and I get to do it slowly. So every time I travel to Taiwan, that's like a good 2 weeks of really good sleep that I get all together. It's really nice. I remember I first discovered that I slept like this when I was in college, actually. I had a spring break, nothing to do, and I was sleeping a little bit later every night. And I had the best sleep I ever got. I had all the time in the world to do all the stuff that I wanted to do. And I felt so good. And my mom was so upset because after the spring break, she couldn't wake me up to go to school. And I thought to myself, gee, this doesn't sound right. This is the best sleep I ever got. And also, this is the only time in my life when I felt like there were enough hours in the day to actually do all the shit that I want, to get enough exercise. I was overweight at the time, needed more exercise in the day. I often didn't find the time. But more importantly, I actually crashed when I went to sleep that week. And I actually woke up wanting to get up and run. And it just goes to show that I hope we... obviously, I'm not asking everybody to adjust their time based on this, but what I'm hoping is that we'll eventually have a society where we can live and let live. Sleep and let sleep, right? If you sleep good on a 26-hour day, please do it. If you sleep well on a 13-hour schedule, do that. If you sleep really well, sleeping once every 2 days, right? That's fine too. We should have a substrate that allows for that to happen, right? Better yet, we need a substrate that allows people to be comfortable living as a single individual, where we talk about LGBTQ all the time, and yet, anyways, what I'm thinking of is on October 14th, it's a Saturday, when it hits totality where you are, I want everybody along this path, at the moment it hits, to scream, "Let's go, Brandon!" So we're going to have a huge wave of, "Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!" It's going to be so loud, it's going to consume all of Oregon, California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. And I can't wait. Also, while you're doing that, make sure to buy some bismuth as well. Buy a 50-pound bar or maybe a 1-ton pallet. And enjoy the solar eclipse. We'll have another one in a total eclipse in April, but that one I'll have to travel quite a distance to go see. So make sure to scream "Let's go, Brandon" when the eclipse hits on October 14th. And don't forget to buy bismuth. And think about your sleep patterns as well, and how we could. My goal is not to change the hours in the day. My goal is to make different number of hours in the schedule livable for everybody involved, right? I'm sure a lot of people insomnia would disappear if people were allowed to sleep at their own will, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.